Welcome back to the Milwaukee Show, and today we're, of course, talking about the Arizona Coyotes and their season preview, where this is a team where for its entire existence, for my opinion, I think is easily the worst run professional sports franchise probably in the entire world. There has never been any hope. There's never been any hope throughout its entire existence. There's maybe every once in a while there was a glimmer, a shine. Maybe that one playoff run in 2012 where they made it to the Western Conference Finals and lost to the Kings, right? Sure, they'd have a couple once in a while, like a playoff run that ended in the second round or something. But really, there was never anything to grab onto. There was never truly any hope. But I think there is some light at the end of the tunnel coming up soon. You can start to see the shine of the sun from the clouds. Because this team, as bad as it still is getting some very, very good. It has a lot of good bright spots. It's when it's after the storm, there's still dark clouds in the sky, but you start seeing rays of God come through the clouds, and it looks so amazing. We've got some rays on this team. So let's talk about it. So last year, they're a interesting season where the Mullet Magic at home of Arizona State University's ice rink, they were pretty good. Their record's 22, 15, and 5 or something like that. The Magic that was there, they had a great home record. Back in the midway through the season, they were up there with the Boston Bruins when it came to home records. On the road, though, they absolutely sucked. Horrendous on the road. But they still come out with a record of 28, 40, and 14 for 70 points, leaving them with 27th in the NHL. At the draft lottery, they get they have a lot of good draft picks. They get Daniil Boots, Simishev. I know people were complaining about the moves that they picked, some of the guys that they picked up instead of drafting some of the more potent prospects, but I like what they did. And in this draft, they drafted all guys above 6'1", I think. Everyone's huge. So they're obviously building up a big team for the future. Simishev, I think, is 6'5". Daniil Boot was 6'7". The goaltender they drafted was 6'9", I think. They're going big. And they add Jason Zucker. They bring back Nick Bjugstad and a couple of other players. So, let's start talking about some of the real bright spots for this team. Clayton Keller. This guy is a freak. One of the most underrated players in the game of hockey. Easily. Keller, 86 points last year. Truly his breakout season. He's 21st last year in the NHL when it comes to points. He's up there, and he's from the Arizona Coyotes, where he's getting basically no help from anybody else. Nick Schmaltz is fine, but truly, no one's helping him really get to those points. It is really the Keller show, and good job for him. This guy's only going to go up as he gets a little bit more help, which he might be this year. After his 37-goal season, he will, I think, most likely be paired up with Barrett Hayton, who's coming off his amazing breakout performance. 43 points last year, 23 years old, and Barrett Hayton, 23, Keller's 25, Schmaltz, 27, so he's still way in his prime. He's not falling off a cliff anytime soon. Barrett Hayton, 43 points on the second line last year. That number's going to go up. He strikes me as, how would I describe, Barrett Hayton's just one of those type of players. I don't even know who I'd compare him to. He's just one of those all-around guys who will, he has the nice shot, he's got nice moves, but he's never going to be the star of the team. He's one of those just real solid performers. I really like Barrett Hayton. I think personally, for me, he's the future captain of this team, in years and years away. Maybe when he's 27 or so, I think maybe Hayton's the guy that takes over that mantle. He's the captain of this team, but that's just me. Barrett Hayton, that first line promotion to the first line with Keller and Nick Schmaltz after his 58-point season, I think is great. And for Schmaltz, he only played 63 games last year, so he's missing 20 games from his whole season, and he got 58 points. Those 20 extra games, he's probably getting around, he's at least getting to 60, maybe 65, potentially approaching 70. I know it's the Keller show, but Nick Schmaltz being paired up with him is huge. Those two work well together. Really like it. Next line, they bring in Jason Zucker from the Penguins. Now, this is a pickup that I definitely think is 100% a trade asset, but I think it will be nice for that centerman that they're bringing up and I think they should give a huge run to is Logan Cooley, the guy from the NCAA. I think got robbed by Fantilli of getting the Hobie Baker, but whatever. Logan Cooley, the rookie's 19 years old, and he's a playmaker. He is a playmaker, and I think it would be great, the perfect decision for them to put Jason Zucker, a goal scorer from the Penguins with 27 goals last year, Lawson Krause, the 6'4 goal scorer, the power forward, scoring goals as well, 24 last year. Cooley being paired up with Krause, the big guy, Zucker, the veteran, I think will be makings for a lot of assists for him. I don't want to say be making magic or anything, but I think he will be getting a lot of assists out there, feeding the puck to Lawson. Cooley will make the play, make the nice move, get the puck over to Krause, get him in a good position for Krause to just bang it in the back of the net. Or what would be more interesting is the other rookie on this team. I would still call Dylan Guenther a rookie. As I said, Dylan Guenther. He had 15 points in the 33 games he played last year, so he's almost half a point per game, which in his rookie campaign. And he gets sent back down to WHL, where he scores the most goals in the entire. I think he won the playoffs with the Seattle, the Seattle Thunderbirds. Is that their name? Dylan Guenther, amazing goal scorer. If they could have Guenther and Cooley work together on the second line, I don't know if they'd be willing to do that, but if they did give Guenther the chance to play with those two guys, the magic that could happen with Gunther's shot and Cooley feeding him the puck and those two guys, they're not going to be dominating the league, but if those two guys can get both, like, maybe feeding off of each other, getting, like, I don't know, like, let's say 30 to 40 points each, I mean, even more, maybe. I mean, Logan Cooley is a huge prospect for the Coyotes. 49 points each. Michelli got 49 last year. I think that'd be huge. Those two rookies working together, I think would be magic. And for the future for the Coyotes, absolutely, that'll be huge for them. They will be the Backstrom and Ovechkin of the West, as long as the Coyotes stay in the West for the time being, at least. Guenther and Cooley, huge bright points, as well as Michelli, the guy I brought up. 49 points last year. He feeds the puck to everybody. He is a pure playmaker. Sure, he got 11 goals, but this guy, being that playmaker on a team like this, if they can put him on the third line with Bukestad, just to be the centerman there, with Dylan Guenther, and those two guys can work together, so Cooley gets to work with the veterans and Krause and Zucker. Michelli gets to work with Dylan Guenther, and Guenther gets to be fed the puck from him, as well as Bukestad being the 6'6 giant that he is, which I actually got to see him in person, standing right next to him. The guy's freaking huge. That guy's huge. Nick Bukestad. Wow. Anyways, speaking of which, he was a plus 13 last year after coming off a season with the Oilers and the Coyotes, so that's pretty huge. And I think that'd be great for Dylan Guenther and Michelli. And Michelli, you can't tell, but I put him in purple because to me, he's questionable, because it is like the 1 year, like, out of nowhere, like, rookie campaign that reminds me of Tanner Jeannot from last season. But to me, I think Tanner Jeannot is a different type of story. Jeannot, his play was, I don't want to say lucky, but it's obviously showed that this last season that he did have a lot of luck on his side. And with Matthias Michelli here, I think it's more, I think he's actually earned it. He's not like, I don't question it. And he was second among rookies, only behind Matty Beniers of the Kraken in rookie points, so that's huge as well. So Michelli and Guenther, him feeding Guenther the puck and him shooting it in the back of the net, I think will only make those two guys better. And then the final line, I just got Jack McBain, Travis Boyd, Kerfoot, just to throw together fourth line. McBain could jump out, maybe he could do something cool. Got 26 points last year, he's 23 years old, maybe he can take a step forward, make it in the 30s of points. Could go either way. Boyd is just a veteran of the league. Maybe a trade asset, maybe you bench him, kind of depending on what the Coyotes want to do with them. Not really that big of a deal. Alexander Kerfoot from the Maple Leafs. Kerfoot to me is a lost cause. The guy got 32 points last year. And I mean, I think with the Coyotes, sure, they can give him more of a platform. Maybe he goes on the second line instead of a guy like Krause. But to me, Kerfoot has never been able to succeed with any real success with the Maple Leafs of all teams that are they pure offense. I mean, when it comes to offense, they can score. And Kerfoot never was really a big part of that. And on the Coyotes, I don't think he's going to get a lot more help, even with a spotlight on him. So to me, Alexander Kerfoot, he could be a scratch. He could be fourth line, last guy on the team. It doesn't matter. And the Coyotes got a couple more options from the AHL and guys like Carcone to put on here. They could even put a guy. They got a lot of options, you know. And who knows? Maybe one of the other prospects in training camp can make the team. Maybe a guy like Geeky could make the squad. Who knows? I doubt it. I don't think he's NHL ready yet. But Kerfoot, I don't see a big upside from him. Some people could say he might, but I don't think so. Defense, though, is what I want to look at. J.J. Moser, huge. Absolutely huge. Another underrated guy. I know he's not, like, to a big ceiling yet, but he's 23 years old, 31 points. He's got speed on his side. When he's on the ice, he plays like he is a legitimate top 4 defenseman in the NHL. I know he doesn't, like, do, like, all the things. He doesn't get all the hits. He doesn't get all the points. He doesn't do, like, all of the right things, but he plays like he is, and he's growing into that form. 7 goals, 31 points last year, so not bad. 23 years old. I like the guy. The guy is going to become a big part, and for the Coyotes as a whole, I love their defense. Him, Valimaki, and Sean Durzi, these guys 24 and 23 years old, I love. They're in the 30s of points right now. Valimaki 34, Sean Durzi 38 with the LA Kings. These guys are just growing into those top 4 players, and I like it. I really like it. Sean Durzi being more of the offensive puck-moving guy. Valimaki kind of being similar to Moser being the two-way defenseman, I think is huge. Those 3 guys right there, great. Soderstrom as well could be a bright spot, but I've never really fallen in love with the guy. He's never really truly impressed me, and I would hate if you somehow watch this video out of nowhere, but he's never, even when they picked him in the, the 2019 draft, I was like, really? I think after him, there was, the next pick was, one of, a prominent player. Was it, Cole Caulfield was the next pick? It might have been. I don't really remember. But Soderstrom has never really impressed me. He's 22 years old, so he does have a lot of time to still turn into a big defenseman. But to me, not a big deal. And for me, I think the last defenseman they put down there is Joshua Brown, 6'5". They don't really have a big defensive guy back there, so to put the 6'5" back there, I think is fine. And then Matt Dumba, the guy they just signed to a contract, 14 points. He's definitely just a trade asset. They're bringing him on for 1 year, 3.9. Flip him at the trade deadline for half the price. It doesn't matter how he performs. They're going to give him the spotlight, pair him up with J.J. Moser. Maybe those 2 guys can find some chemistry where Moser feeds him the puck and he can one-time it, see if it goes in the back of the net, or Dumba try to make the play his own, get some more points on the board to make him more attractive to other teams to trade for him. So for defense, I like the future guys. I like Moser, Valimaki, and Durzi. Soderstrom's a question mark, but I like it. I really like it. And guys like Maverick Lamoureux, who are going to be coming up soon as well. Those are bright points for the future, but they're not on the team right now. Goaltending-wise, Karela Vejmelka, I like. I really like Vejmelka. He's a goaltender that I think if another team like the Senators, they need a goaltender, I think they would have been better off going with a guy like Vejmelka instead of a guy like Joonas Korpisalo. Vejmelka is once again another underrated guy in the Coyotes. He can make amazing saves, amazing plays, and it's just unfortunate that he plays for a team that gets shot on the most in the entire league every single night, and that's got to be killer too. To go in every night knowing your team is less than a 10% chance of winning a game, right? And then Connor Ingram behind them. Ingram's okay. He's a solid backup for the Coyotes. Maybe he could be traded out somehow because I want them to show off Ivan Prosvetov. Ivan Prosvetov, if you've never heard the guy, huge. This goaltender is my pick for one of the best goaltenders in the league in 3 years. In 3 years, Ivan Prosvetov will be a top 10 goaltender in the NHL. I can promise you that. And I'd like the Coyotes to get him some time on the NHL side of things, not in the AHL. He's been in the AHL for so long. I want to see him get a chance at being the backup or maybe even the starting goaltender for the Coyotes because he is amazing. But overall, for the Yotes, for them, a lot of bright spots. I like a lot of things going from him. Keller is amazing. Barrett Hayton's amazing. Schmaltz is good enough. He's still emerging as a great player. Logan Cooley and Gunther could be great. Lawson Krause is a type of guy I could imagine having a breakout year and get to 35 goals or something. Michelli being 49 points last year, what he can go on top of that, especially playing with guys like Cooley or Gunther. Maybe he's put on the top line. He plays with Clayton Keller. Who knows? A lot of bright spots. Defensively, especially Moser, Valimaki, and Durzi. I love those guys a lot. I like their bright future. The Coyotes, they got a good bright points. Where do I see them this year? I would say probably around the same spot. Maybe they jump a couple spots ahead. Maybe instead, like the Flyers are going to be below them now. I would say maybe they get to like 24th, maybe 24th, 25th in the NHL this year. They're going to make a jump forward, but not that big of a leap. And I would say next season where guys like Gunther could become a 25-goal scorer, Logan Cooley could get to like maybe the 50 points, then they'll make that jump forward and start getting up to maybe approaching like 20th, maybe even like 18th in the NHL. But this year, they're still going to be poor. They're not going to be a good team. But they're going to be exciting to watch. They're going to be so fun to watch. Some of these guys like Clayton Keller own that he is an 86-point scorer. Barrett Hayton emerging more as that kind of like Jamie Benn type of power forward where he's not like really tumbling through guys, but he's able to just use his body for his advantage. Nick Schmaltz just emerging more as a 70-point potential player. There's a lot of good points on this team. I like the bright spots. The beacon of God, the sun's shining through, and they're almost there. They're almost home free to being a good team, but I guess this year we're just going to have to suffer a little bit longer. But that is all I got to say. So thank you for watching this. If you made it this far, please, I'm begging you, pick up your free subscription. And until next time, too sweet, have an amazing day. And ta-ta for now.